Hey everybody, welcome to day one. My name is Jen. I am glad you are joining me for our functional fitness movements. As I mentioned in the intro, we are going to work to gain movement confidence in movements that we do in everyday life. We have 5 big major movement patterns that our body does. Think about your body like a big physics experiment. There's a lot of biomechanics that go on. Today we're going to learn those first 5 movements in stationary positions. And then as you join me throughout the week, we will add some levels of being able to modify on the way up or on the way down with the hopes that by day 5, your movement confidence has really skyrocketed. So we're gonna start with the squat. You wanna make sure you've got some space around you. As you can see, I do have dumbbells and I have a mat. Those are an option for you. If you need to press the pause button and come back, I'll be right here. Otherwise, dumbbells and a mat don't necessarily need to be needed today as well. With a squat, we're gonna have our toes pointing forward, chest is lifted high. I want you to think about sitting down in a chair, maybe on the couch, maybe getting into your car. You're gonna push the hips back, chest stays high, crown of the head leads. You can watch me or you can join when you're ready. I'm standing up thinking about pressing my feet and my heels into the ground. So think about your legs like strong anchors. They help get you up and help balance you on the way down. When you feel ready, I invite you to come with me. I have a moderate level of leg placement here. Your legs could certainly be a little bit wider if that feels a little more comfortable for you. Looking good. Let's just try another 10 here. Some things you might be experiencing. You might be feeling a little forward falling or a little backward falling. That's a-okay. Your body's learning how to adjust and kind of manipulate itself with gravity and our changes in movement levers. Looking good. 5 more here. 4, 3, 2, keep breathing, and 1. That is our squat. That is a functional movement that is used in many, many different movements throughout our day. So sometimes they even get snuck in. You don't even realize you're squatting, and you are. Movement number 2, we are gonna do a lunge. A lunge is a single-sided opportunity for us to work on balance and also single leg strength. I like to step backwards when I'm lunging. My right leg, again, is gonna be that anchor. The front leg is the anchor. I'm stepping myself back. I'm coming up tall. You can stay on one leg till you feel confident, or you could also alternate legs. People get intimidated by a lunge. They think, I'm not a basketball player. I don't know how to lunge. Our bodies naturally do this. Sometimes we just overthink it. Very good. Is your chest nice and tall? That front leg stays stationary. My toes are stepping back and then I'm pushing up. Let's try for 10 more here. Some things you might be feeling with your lunge. You might be feeling a little unsteady. That's okay. You can put your hands out, or even if you had your hands on the top of a couch or a bookcase. Looking good. Think about pull that belly button in and standing nice and tall. 4 more here. If you're feeling tightness in your knee, I would encourage you to step back a little bit farther. 2 and 1. Very good. 2 down, 4 to go here. Our next movement is going to be a hinging movement. We hinge a lot during the day and we don't realize that either. Think about your hips kind of like a wheelbarrow where you will have a fulcrum or a kind of set point that the body changes and moves back and forth from. So when we are hinging, we might be picking something up off the ground, we might be reaching and hinging, but our hips are going to be the prime mover here. So when I hinge, my back stays tall, I tip forward, I'm using the backs of my legs to stand back up again. When we get tired, or if we feel like, I don't want to say lazy, but maybe a little bit not thinking about our form, a lot of us, myself included, will do this. I'll let my back curve and I'll bend from my back and my spine. We want to keep the spine long so that the hinge action can come from these strong hamstrings. So I invite you to start with me. Maybe hands are on the hips or hands are right out to the sides. Tip forward. Think about peeking over the Grand Canyon. I want to see what's down there, but I certainly don't want to fall, right? So if you feel yourself rounding, lengthen that back out. Good, tipping forward. Something else that might help, hands on the thighs, gently sliding them down, squeezing to stand back up. There, looking great everybody. Let's try 6 more. I'm shifting my hips behind me, The weight of the front side of my body is tipping me forward, so it's kind of like a counterbalance. Again, thinking about a fulcrum. Good, 4 more. Keep breathing. 2 more here with this hinge. Last one, everybody. I know this one can take some getting used to because we aren't used to necessarily hinging from the hips. We're used to tipping from the back and picking things up or moving things, but we really want to let the hip and the middle of our core do all the work for that hinge movement. All right, movement number 4 is going to be a carry movement. We carry things all the time as well, and we don't necessarily think about how we carry them. Here's where the dumbbells will come in handy, or if you don't have any today, maybe you want to use soup cans or a couple of water bottles. When we're carrying something, shoulders are rolled back, hands are going to be down at the sides like we're carrying 2 suitcases or 2 grocery bags. I'm going to stay stationary, but I'm going to encourage you to walk around your space. Maybe you walk in a square, maybe you walk forward and backward, but I want you to notice, how does my body move differently when I am off of one foot and the weights are underneath me? So go ahead and just take 30 seconds, walk yourself in a square, maybe back and forth across your living room or your garage or wherever you're watching me from today, and see how that feels when you have external weight in your hands. Are you keeping your shoulders back? Are you keeping your hips tucked under you? Just go ahead and carry that weight. Looking good, everybody. And again, remember, this might not be so familiar for you. Perhaps you're not used to walking and carrying something. So give yourself some grace and patience. Good, another 10 seconds. Thinking about standing tall, forward, backward. Maybe it's on the diagonal. Looking good, everybody. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set those weights down. As we move through our days this week, you will notice that each of these exercises will get a little more complex if you're ready for that. Exercise number 5, or movement number 5, is a pushing movement. So our upper body does 2 main movements, a push movement and a pull movement. For a push movement, the typical movement that we do is a push up, or when people are in the weight room, it would be a bench press. If you say, Jen, push-ups are not in my repertoire, I do not like push-ups, I want you to like push-ups because we push away from many different things. We might push ourselves away from getting up off of something. We might push ourselves away out of danger. So the pushing exercise, even if you don't like push-ups themselves, the act of pushing away is something that we need to do every day. So I'm going to invite you, if it feels okay, to come to the floor with me. Otherwise, if you have a wall or even a coffee table or something else stable that you can put your hands on, that's a great option for starting. I'm going to do some push-ups on my knees. Some things to think about when we're doing our push-ups. Hands can really be whatever feels comfortable for you. So if they feel comfortable a little more narrow, great. A little wider, great. I have my fingers spread, so all my weight is really pushed between all my fingers. You could have your feet down, you could have your feet up. I'm thinking about lowering myself until my elbows are bent, and then pushing back up. It doesn't feel so hot all the time, but this is how we gain strength. Maybe this is just a little too much for you today. You know what? Bring those hips up, and you can push up right here. You are still pushing against gravity and pushing against that source of work. Maybe you know where we're going and you're ready to be on your toes already. That's great too, but I would encourage you to really get the form down first while you feel confident. Let's try for 10 more. So if you're on your wall, that looks great. If you're on your coffee table, looking great. If you're on your knees, looking great. Let's get 4 more. Remember to breathe and push away from that static wall or floor that's holding you up. 2 more. Nice job, team. Good, come on up. If you haven't been used to doing a lot of push-ups, your wrists might be a little tight. Something I like to do is roll through my wrists, make a yes motion and a no motion with my wrists. Push-ups will help strengthen those ligaments and tendons in your wrists. The opposite of push is going to be pull. So our final exercise for day 1 is going to be an overhead pull. Most of us don't have a fancy gym in our house, so I want to be able to empower you to do workouts with just your body weight. I'm going to have you lay on your back. Arms are up in the air. We're going to start with no weight, and I want you to think about your arms coming overhead and then pulling back up. And you might say, Jen, this doesn't seem like anything. It sure is, though. You're working against gravity, and you're using the large muscles of your back to pull those arms back overhead. So stay with me for this today. Very good. If this is feeling very doable and you want just a little bit more of a challenge, you can pick your feet up. That takes away a little bit of your balance. But this is a great way for us to practice not only a shoulder extension, but pulling exercises. Let's do 4 more. Keep breathing. 3, 2, and 1. You can stay where you're at or you can roll up with me. I want you to give yourself a smile today and know that you made it through day 1. We're gonna take those 6 movements and add on the next layer of complexity for day 2. So we'll see you tomorrow.